Hey, so Anthony Mackie is going viral for a lot of reasons. That interview he just did, it's getting clipped up everywhere. We talked about how he says success is given and not earned yesterday, but we didn't cover the other part of that where he says that Hollywood has been destroying masculinity over the past 20 years. And he's raising his sons to be masculine. He's not with none of these agendas. He don't even let his sons get too fly or follow none of the social media trends. He lets them know, hey, when I'm gone on set, you're the man of the house to his oldest. So it's your responsibility to look after the house. An intruder come in. It's your responsibility to defend the house. It's your responsibility to look after your mom and keep your little brothers in check. I'm raising a man. He said, whoever got an issue with that, that's a personal problem. I don't have a problem with whatever lifestyle you live, but our community specifically, we need to harbor and cherish and bring back masculinity in the homes. And I believe that's perfect timing with all the drama surrounding Doechii, with the whole heterosexual men are the biggest red flag and the agendas that they've been pushing on us. So to hear somebody in Hollywood jump out there and go directly against that was refreshing. So I got to salute and tip my hat to Anthony Mackie. What y'all think about his comments?
Nah, I agree with him. It's the same thing we always speak on. And for people that don't understand and don't think it's an agenda, just go back if you're a little older and just pay attention to the way things are now, from the cartoons to the movies to the TVs to the commercials. Everything you see has something fruity or gay in it. You know what I'm saying? It never was a cartoon when I was a kid where they had two dads. It never was allowed to be the name whatever you want to be to use a bathroom, the transgenders, all those things in that aspect, the movies, everything else. You have to have a gay scene. Even these TV shows that you watch, it has to be a gay character. It has to be some main gay something with all that in it. And this ain't nothing just against the LGBTQ community. It's just the fact that it's pushed to the forefront. And like we talk about, the things that you see the most, you become equipped to. And these kids become curious and you wondering why these kids is 7, 8 years old and even in elementary already being gay. It's not just because, oh, I don't believe people are born like that. I don't believe that. I believe you're brought up a certain way or you're introduced to certain things and you become equipped and adapted to the things that you see and you're around. You're basically becoming a product of your environment and the things that you consume.
I agree. I think that it's more important than ever right now for us to try to keep the masculinity alive and push it to the forefront because for so many years it has not been. You got the gender ambiguous characters. That's what you see a lot of the time now. The skinny dude who, you know what I mean, we don't know if he's a girl or if he's a boy. He doesn't really have any masculine traits. He plays the back. He's not a go-getter. He's not headstrong. And they make that type of man, especially in our community, the number one character at this point in time. Like you said, cartoons, TV, music. You got people like Playboy Cardi running around with thongs on. You know what I mean? And telling you that that's okay. And just because we might fuck a girl, we're somehow still a dude. Nah, dudes don't play like that. We don't do that. And we need to draw a line in the sand and go back to having more of a masculine and a feminine thing. We're merging it. And that's why people, to keep it 100, their heads are fucked up. And so somebody like Anthony Mackie, which he's always played, besides the Tupac role, right? he's always played
crazy,
he's always played decent roles. So to, like you said, to hear him say that is refreshing because everything we see in Hollywood is feminine.
That nigga was Papa Doc too.
I forgot he was Papa Doc.
Yeah.
Cuz was Papa Doc, but
he played the hell out of Papa Doc too.
Was that a bad role though?
Nah, Papa Doc was a good
cool.
role. I fuck with Papa Doc.
Clarence is cool.
His real name's Clarence. He got killed. But to get back even to that too, even when we be mad at our women, but even when we think about a lot of things, if most masculine men are going to be attracted and have a feminine woman. So now you get a lot of these women that we presume masculine and they're looking at niggas like bitches. You know what I'm saying? To that extent where these niggas can't control the women. So that's to the point and they're feeling like they have to step up in those roles. But only because niggas allow it though. This is what I mean though. If you're dealing with a woman that's not far as feminine, you want that and I believe you shouldn't just deal with it because then they will get back in pocket. But when they have men that they can control and move a certain way, they're going to keep moving the way they do.
But women nowadays are looking for that because that's what they've also been conditioned. So we're being conditioned the opposite way. Men are being conditioned to say, you know what? You always going to have something to fall back on. You aren't responsible for your actions 100%.
Mm.
Where back in the day, you sink, we're gonna throw you out here, you either sink or you swim. Don't come crying home to mama, right? Where now it's like you're gonna always have somebody to pat you on the shoulder. You're gonna always have somebody to make it seem like what you did was okay to where you might not have to take responsibility for your actions. So you're looking for somebody as a man that's going to coddle you. Women, they're learning to be more masculine today. You're gonna be the breadwinner. You know, women are supposed to be strong, independent, have a, you know what I mean, a head on their shoulders. They make more than men. All these things that they're told from this high to when they're 25 years old, when they meet a man that mirrors a masculine man, that's actually, for some women out here, that's uncomfortable because then they can't control. And what they've been conditioned to do is to be the lead instead of being the follower in a way, or, you know, having a partnership. So I think they're being conditioned backwards and is putting us against each other.
Hold on. There's a famous quote. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. For the past couple of years, I would say maybe the past 10, they've been creating weak men in our culture via the destruction of masculinity. Anthony Mackie went on to say at least 20 years. So all we've done was want to party, get fly, blah, blah, blah. We talked about it on the show all the time, right? And in the process of that, men have become weaker. Men don't have skills. Men don't have masculinity. Men don't have emotional intelligence. Men are literally acting like they're single mothers who raised them because they were raised in predominantly single family homes. Right now, we're in the era where it's shifting, where the few masculine men that's out here is starting to like, you know what? Fuck this. We finna press a line. We need to get back to this because the world goes in cycles. It just cycles over and over again. So that's why that quote is, to me, I love that quote. Because if you look back in history, there was always a time where, okay, masculinity was running it. Some weird shit started happening. That society collapsed. Then a new society advanced. Rinse, cycle, repeat. Right now, we are in the collapse of the weird shit, the goofy shit. Like, that shit is done. People is sick of it. People is tired of it. The women who co-signed it and thought that's what they wanted got out here in the real world, saw how hard it really was. They don't want that shit no more. They want to put the responsibility back on real men, like they like to say. They don't even like the men that their counterparts or their mother or grandmothers raised to be weak, because all these niggas want to do is have fun and a good time and let's play and joke all fucking day. So right now, it's a shift. So if you are on the side of the real and the masculine and let's get men back being men, let's get women back being women, it's not misogynistic to say we have gender roles because it's common sense. We're made different. We're wired different. We each got different skills. That's called having roles. So God molded men to be a certain way, which is why we always had certain roles, because we excel where women fail. Vice versa. They got certain wiring where they excel where we fail. Yin and yang. So right now, the world is shifting back to normalcy. So shout out Anthony Mackie for being brave enough to say that, because just a few years ago, saying that would have been labeled homophobic and he would have been canceled. So now he got the balls to actually get out there and say it, and you see the support. People are tired of the fake shit. We tired of the fake music. We tired of the fake content. We tired of the fake sports. People ain't even watching sports no more because it's all connected to betting, and man, this shit fake. We want the real back. Yeah, period, point blank.
I think a lot of, it might sound crazy, but I think a lot of people, where we at, because I talk about this, when you think about other cultures, even though I'm not saying you have to be religious, but I think even having a higher faith and a higher power in God at that sense, I think a lot of our people have no connection to God. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what we might say or think, people are just living out here to just 5 senses solely and not doing nothing, working on the inside. That inner strength is what really count when it comes to that balance. And when you think about other cultures, they follow a certain strict routine, far as regardless if you feel like they brainwashed or they're doing something else, but you see the way they women act in different countries and different states based off of their religion. And that keeps them intact with certain morals or with certain principles. And I think a lot of us, and men as well, we don't connect to that higher power. We don't do that. And when you're doing that, you're never going to be in sync with yourself. You're never going to be in imbalance. So I think a lot of us are out of balance within, and that's the bigger problem when it comes to us as men and women.
I also think that people, what they, the agendas that we've been sold on social media and our imaginations and what people think is not working out in reality. And so what I mean is you might want to be a strong feminine woman on social media, but then in reality, you realize that that's not really working out. Or dudes, they run into dudes, can't fix a fucking tire. You know what I mean? Can't use a screwdriver.
Do we use
this is not working out in reality. A dude come home from work, right? And ain't nothing cooked, ain't nothing cleaned. It's like on social media, everything seems okay and the agendas are pushed there, but in reality, it's starting to have its collapse because that's where the gender roles that we were programmed with since birth are actually starting to come into play, where it's like, hold on, this shit ain't working out. That's why we need to go back to how it was, because that's when things were more in sync compared to, like I just said. So I think it's also that the imagination and the potential or the agendas that are being pushed, it's not applicable and it can't really work out in reality. And people are starting to see that after bumping heads for the last 5 to 10 years.
I see a lot of things, like, for one, I think nobody should be trying to orchestrate their relationship the way somebody else is. Like, if I tell people all the time, like we say, comparison is a killer of all joy. If you see that man with his girl walking and holding hands across the street, and a female might look at you like, why you ain't holding my hand? Well, I don't hold hands. You know what I'm saying? So stop comparing the men. I think men and women, between your relationship, you should figure out what works for y'all and stop trying to get these gender roles or the prototypes of what a relationship should be. You're getting too much advice from too many different people. Within 1,000 people, you should take advice from one. So I believe that. And I also think there is a difference when it comes to strength, when it comes to men and it comes to women. We call these masculine women strong in all this sense, but it takes more strength to be a feminine woman. It takes a lot more strength, in my opinion, to be feminine and to mask in that and be able to control their emotions and do different things when it comes to dealing with a man versus just running wild and doing what you want to do. I think that's actually weaker in my sense. Even though you're trying to be strong, you basically being a nigga. You want to be masculine, you want to be hard in that sense. So I think we got a lot of shit fucked up.
No, shout out to Anthony Mackie, though, because he got it right. He's cultivating his kids, his sons, to be men. Like, men are created. Men aren't, they're built. So they got to be given the tools to become a man. Yeah, you can be a boy, grow up, and you're of age, and you're technically a man, but you have no skills to be a man. You're not a useful man. You're not a leader. You don't have any knowledge to give. So the fact that he is in I would say, a privileged position and still giving his kids the game, he's not relying on his privilege and his money to do it for him. He's actually utilizing and doing it. Like, hey, every day I'm gone, wake up, text me before you go to bed, text me, let me know you put the alarms on. You got to do this, you got to do. Like, he's giving them tasks, getting them ready for the real world. And that's what's lacking in a lot of homes. We're letting electronics raise kids. Oh, go YouTube this, YouTube that. Or we so burnt out, we don't want to give them any game, or we don't want to learn to give them. Because a lot of us, for a fact, was not taught and don't really have nothing to even give if you did have a son and want to teach him something, because you weren't taught. So even as adults, there's a lot of full-grown men that on the side of being a dad has to learn new skills and new trades and new traits to pour into their son, because they don't have it. You got to learn every day.
And I agree. And we got to start young. You got to start young, because half the things I hated that we had to do when we was young, I'm glad that I learned it when I was young, because now it's embedded when it comes to just small things, doing chores. You know what I'm saying? Being respectful when you walk in people's houses. We talked about this already. And that's embedded in me, I feel like, forever. Just off the strength. I can't sit around too much clutter without just getting up and cleaning it up. Like, it'll fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? And I think, like you said, certain tools and things have to be developed within you. And I think you start young, in my opinion.
I agree.
Kelly
I'm over it.
You're like, get off this fucking topic.
Nah, facts. Shout out Anthony Mackie, man.